Freedom is something many women long for. And yet, when it finally arrives, it can feel unexpectedly heavy. Imagine that. And we'll get into it right after this. Welcome back to Purpose Over Paycheck with your host, Dr. Lisa. The Midlife Reinvention Movement for women 50 and above, rising in faith, walking in freedom, living in flow, and flourishing in every God designed season. Here is where we shift beliefs, we elevate purpose, and of course, we step boldly into our next chapter. What is this? This is purpose. We often imagine freedom as lightness, right? Tiptoeing through the tulips, not a care in the world, leisurely just existing and being present in the world, right? Less pressure, fewer demands, just more ease across the board. And sometimes it is, it's all of those things, right? But freedom also removes structure, right? It hands choice back to you. It asks you to decide without familiar guardrails you once relied on. So, guardrails like, once the children get grown, I'm focused on raising them. Guardrails like position descriptions when they don't exist anymore for you, or other guardrails. Just think of structure and guardrails that we didn't even think of or consider as structure or guardrails because it's just how we existed, right? It was the norm. It was the season of life that we were in. But when those things no longer exist, the opportunity then presents itself like a gift for us to decide. The choice is ours, the power is in our hands, and choice carries weight. Choice carries weight. The kind of choices that are done in a freedom environment, in a less structured environment. I won't call it structureless, but a less structured environment. I liken it to bowling. So, if you've ever been bowling, there's a type of bowling called duck pin bowling. And that's when guardrails are up. It's a different ball. The pins are different, but those guardrails are a safety feature and a guarantee that when you roll the ball, it's not going to go into the gutter. Even in regular bowling, you have the option, and oftentimes we do it with kids, with children, or beginners in golfing, right? You can put the guardrails up so that when you make the decision to roll the ball down the lane, there's something in place that is going to prevent the ball from going off the rails. And there's a certain level of safety and comfort knowing that those rails are there. And the likelihood of us knocking one of those pins down is high because we know at minimum we're not going to roll a gutter ball. But in this midlife season that we're in, there are no guardrails. They're lowered. We know that they're there. There are some, some things there, right? But making that decision to move forward, to roll the ball down the lane, to make that choice, whatever that choice may be for you in this season, carries weight. When no one is telling us what's required, we're left to listen to what is true. What is true? Standing at that intersectionality of midlife, what was in the next chapter of our life, it's on us. That decision is ours. The guardrails, excuses, reasons that we didn't do something that are no longer present, we have to take ownership of that. We have to take ownership of what we do next. Freedom brings responsibility, not the kind that exhausts you, but the kind that asks for honesty. Because we have to be honest. I'm not rolling the ball down the lane because I'm scared, because kids are no longer the issue. I'm not rolling the ball down the lane because I'm afraid I won't knock any pins down. That's honesty. I'm not making the next decision because if it doesn't work out, wait for it. I don't have anyone to blame but myself. Mm. Sit with that for a moment. I'm not making that next decision because that means I'm taking ownership and agency for what happens. Now, let us off the hook. We can't control all of the elements of any situation. There are parts of it that we can, and other parts are not ours. The outcome is not ours. But making the decision and choices and actions in order to succeed, those are our responsibility. And that's where honesty comes into play. You may feel the weight of time, the weight of possibility, the weight of asking what actually matters now. This heaviness doesn't mean freedom was a mistake. Au contraire, it means freedom is asking to be integrated, woven in, and a part of our daily lives and decision. Many of us were protected in a way by the busy schedules and the external expectations. When those fall away, hmm, emotions that were postponed finally have room to surface. When those guardrails are no longer in place, what's the reason for not doing it now? What's the reason that we're not making the decision and the choice to take the next step? I think about me writing my most recent book, Losing the Weight, 90-day faith, freedom, flow, and flourishing blueprint for midlife reinvention. For those of you who may not know, I have been doing quite a bit of traveling. And one day I was thinking to myself, oh, wow, I'd really like to, write that next book, this transition from career, the C suite to no C suite, right? And this next chapter of life has really been something. And I needed some tools to help me navigate the transition and shorten the learning curve. I didn't find anything. I found bits and pieces here and there, but I didn't find what I needed to just help flip the switch, so to speak, right? And just help propel me into the next chapter and set me up for success in a beautiful way. So I started writing those things out, right? And I was saying to myself, man, it sure would be nice to put this in a book and package this and be able to share this with other women who find themselves in the same position. In that moment of freedom and honesty and honest dialogue with myself and asking myself questions and, saying it would be nice, it occurred to me that freedom, that ease, that being in an honest space, why haven't you written it? You don't have any reason not to write it. Your schedule is now your own. So if you want to write it, you feel inspired to write it, you feel like that's the next step and that's what is calling to you to do it. So I did it. But I had to be honest with myself that if for some reason I didn't do it, it was no one else's responsibility. I couldn't blame it, put that onus on anyone else but myself. So I encourage you to ask and have an honest conversation and dialogue with yourself. What has been calling to you to do? And I also encourage you to be honest in answering yourself. That's not failure, that's truth arriving when it's safe enough to be felt. Because we're not being unkind to ourselves in this season. Truth and freedom and honesty is liberating. It's safety, it's comfort, it's peace. Freedom feels heavy when it's still being metabolized. Woo. And metabolizing freedom is part of becoming whole. Let me invite you into this reflection. In the comments, answer this gently. What feels heavier now? Choice, time, or possibility? For me, in writing the book, what was heavy for me at that time was choice. One word is enough. And if this resonates, subscribe because learning how to carry freedom, learning how to integrate freedom is part of learning how to live inside it. Before we close, let me bless you. You know what I like to do. May you release the belief that freedom should feel effortless. Excuse me. May you trust that wait does not mean failure. WEIGHT does not mean failure. May your faith steady you when responsibility feels unfamiliar. May your freedom be patient with you as you learn how to hold it. May your flow teach you how to move without rushing clarity. And may you remember, freedom can feel heavy, not because it's wrong, but because it matters. Midlife is not a crisis. It's our invitation to reinvention. We're still here, we're still rising, and we're making this next chapter our best one yet. Faith, freedom, flow, flourishing. This is 50 plus reinvented.